Ladies and gentlemen, please stand to welcome the IMD MBA class of 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, esteemed guests from the cantonal and communal authorities, friends from the Friends of IMD, from the Vaud business community and well beyond, alumni, dear colleagues, and those of you watching from afar, may I present to you some of the smartest, hard-working young men and women that you're ever likely to have the privilege of meeting, the class of 2019. Today is a day of celebration and recognition. Graduands, your achievements are hard-earned. We admire, respect, and warmly congratulate each and every one of you. It's your talent, energy, resilience, and enthusiasm that has enabled you to navigate this year with more ease than you appreciate. And despite the inevitable bumps in the road that you will have experienced, the various ups and downs, my colleagues and I admire you tremendously, as we have classes before. But as the saying goes, and the track record shows us, the best has yet to come. So on that note, let me introduce our president, Professor Jean-François Manzoni. Jean-François is a leadership professor, a leading author, renowned expert on change management, and much sought-after advisor to boards and CEOs. I see Jean-François regularly, and I observe and experience firsthand his passion and energy. He, the management team, and the supervisory board of IMD care deeply about this program and what it means for you. His commitment has been felt and truly appreciated. Please welcome the President of IMD, Professor Jean-François Manzoni.
Thank you. As Sean said, a warm welcome to all of you who are here today, and also a warm welcome to all those of you who are watching us from afar, from a TV or a computer screen. I want to start these remarks by offering my most sincere congratulations to the graduating class of 2019. You worked very hard to get this degree, and you should be proud of it. Folks out there, competitors, life, bad luck, will be able to take a number of things away from you in the years to come. But this degree, this achievement, nobody will ever take that away. You achieved that, and it will last forever. And we didn't give it to you. You had to earn it, which is as it should be. This degree carries with it a designation, a brand that has been established over several decades by the continued excellence of your predecessors, several of whom are here today, and I want to thank them for their presence and continued support, and our predecessors, some of whom are also here today. By the way, I also want to signal that among your predecessors is one father of one of you, and also 2 husbands. And I think we should applaud them specifically, because I think this is just great to watch one of their family members follow them. Year after year, IMD graduates, faculty, and staff have established that an IMD MBA stands for a few key values and for a certain pursuit of excellence. It means a great deal, and we are happy and proud for you that you have worked your way to receiving it. So, dear guests, one more time, give them a very, very warm round of applause. Now, graduating class, as you stand atop of this mountain, I would like you to take a moment to feel and extend your gratitude to those of you who have helped you to get here. Parents, spouses, children, friends, all the people who over the last 12 months, and in some cases much longer, have worked really hard at all the tasks that you couldn't accomplish, at staying patient when you couldn't be, at being there for you, at supporting you in the pursuit of this important project. So at this legitimate moment of triumph for you, I would like you, in 30 seconds, to stand up, turn around, and give a very warm hand of applause to the people in this room or abroad who helped you to reach this peak today. If they are here in the room, do look them in the eye as you applaud them. If they are not here and couldn't be here with us, please look into the camera and connect with them. They deserve your gratitude. Thank you. And now, if I may, I would like to share a few parting thoughts with you. And this year I was tougher on myself than I was last year. Last year I shared 5 thoughts. This year I'm going to limit myself to 3 thoughts. Admittedly, slightly longer ones, but nevertheless 3 thoughts. The first thought, in years to come, be proud of IMD and be proud of your IMD degree. Yes, you will often face a notoriety deficit. You will often meet people saying, what is it? Where is it? Accept it. IMD will always be better known as a B2B brand than as a B2C brand. And accept it, you will often have to explain this. When that happens, smile and grab the opportunity to educate one more individual. Tell them that IMD is a proud independent business school with Swiss roots and global reach. As a Swiss-based institution, we are discreet and we don't boast. We just go about our business with as much drive as, most of the time, modesty. But for now, and especially for our guests, I want to leave modesty aside just for a second to remind you and everyone that we were the first major business school in the world to create a family business centers more than 30 years ago. Bloomberg Businessweek and Forbes did rank our MBA program the best international program in the world. And we are one of 2 business schools in the world to have been in the top 5 of the Financial Times Executive Education ranking for more than 15 consecutive years. So yes, we are a well-kept secret, but we're a pretty darn good secret. Beyond ranking and notoriety, we proudly stand for something. Challenging what is and inspiring what could be, we develop leaders who transform organizations and contribute to society. We believe that a sense of shared responsibility is essential for the prosperity of individuals, businesses, communities, and nations. And we support responsible leaders who act with integrity, contribute to sustainable performance, and have a positive impact on the world. So in the years to come, be proud of who we are and use that pride as a continued encouragement for you to live up to that heritage and to our collective purpose. Second thought, in years to come, make an effort to be engaged in the IMD alumni community, and particularly the MBA and EMBA alumni community. And of course, starts with your class. Stay connected, support one another, organize reunions. Come back for your reunion to IMD every 5 years. You have just spent a year together. The folks in this class know you better than most people you will meet will ever know you. There is an amazing professional and personal richness in this group. Nurture it and make it grow. A vibrant alumni community is an essential pillar of a successful school. It can also be an extraordinary asset for each of its members. Over the last 11 months, we have done our best to help you connect individually and collectively as a class. We will continue to try to help. But from today onward, this will become a shared responsibility. We will do our part. We want to encourage you to do yours. Be engaged in the life of the class of 2019 and more broadly in the alumni community. Third thought, in years to come, ensure that you remain very clear about the objectives that you pursue and very deliberate about the trade-offs that you make. I know it's a long sentence. Remain very clear about the objectives that you want to pursue, because sometimes we don't realize early enough that in fact we're pursuing somebody else's dreams or the objectives and dreams that we think, or maybe other people think, that we should be pursuing. I want to encourage you to choose your own dreams and objectives deliberately and consciously. Hopefully, the reflective work that you did during the MBA program has helped you to become more aware of how you function and why you function this way. And hopefully, this greater self-awareness will also help you to select your preferred destination, your desired destination, and the path to that destination. Choose wisely, and then revisit these choices at regular intervals. Not too frequently, because if you revise too frequently, you will lack persistence, but also not too infrequently either, because otherwise you will be pursuing for too long a path that is no longer optimal for you. As you go, make deliberate choices about priorities and trade-offs. If you set priorities, allocate a great deal of time and energy to them. Don't let less important tasks distract you from the priorities that you set. We live in an age of distraction, but success requires focus and persistence. So choose your priorities wisely and then focus on them very intently. And if these priorities involve you pursuing ambitious goals, you will probably find it difficult to keep all the balls up in the air at the same time, all going to the desired height. You will have to make trade-offs and accept that one or two balls are going to be going less high for a while in order to free up time and energy that you want to invest elsewhere. I want to encourage you to make these trade-offs deliberately and consciously and to put a time frame on them. If you're not conscious or deliberate enough, you will end up underinvesting in some dimensions that will be subsidizing the rest. More concretely, it will be very easy for you to underinvest in yourself, in your family, in broader relationships, in your role as a member of the community and of the human race. The search for professional success is a demanding master, and it is a relentless one. And then habits kick in and we forget what we were trying to achieve in the first place. So choose your priorities wisely and for yourself. Revise them periodically, and in between revisions, stay ruthlessly focused on them. And make trade-offs consciously and deliberately. Do not underinvest too much for too long in yourself, in your family, in broader relationships, or in your role as a member of communities and as a human race. This latter aspect is not innocuous. The world is facing serious challenges, in particular on the ecological and social fronts. The world needs responsible leaders who speak and act in ways that contribute to the common good. So those were my 3 thoughts for today. Be proud of your degree and of your school. We're not perfect, but we strive for excellence every day and achieve it often enough. I often joke that Winston Churchill used to say, courage is going from one failure to another without loss of enthusiasm. Internally, we joke that we are trying to have enough successes to help us go from one failure to another without loss of enthusiasm. But that's, of course, the modesty of a Swiss organization speaking. Our goal, again, is to challenge what is and inspire what could be, to develop leaders who transform organizations and contribute to society. You are the epitome of these leaders that we want to develop, and we are proud of you. Be proud, too. To be engaged in the IMD alumni community, starting with this class. The world is not an easy place, and you'll need friends and supporters. We all do one day or another. Nurture the friendships that you develop this year and connect with your predecessors and soon enough with your successors. And finally, choose your priorities wisely. Focus with great energy and make trade-offs consciously and deliberately. The dimensions in which you underinvest too much for too long will come back and bite you. So keep your future self very clearly in mind and among your key stakeholders. Voilà, those were the 3 thoughts. Over the coming years, we look forward to watching you continue to develop yourselves. We look forward to hearing about everything you will accomplish, your triumphs, your challenges as well. And we look forward to watching you make a positive impact on the world, starting with the lives of the people around you. It has been a privilege for us to share these 12 months with you. Good luck to all of you. Now, it is my second honor to introduce your graduation keynote speaker. His name is Manel Adel, and 25 years ago, pretty much to the day, he sat pretty much like you as a part of his MBA graduation ceremony. It was a different building, but same general principle. We asked Manel to be the graduation keynote speaker today because in many ways, he is a great example for you. He has had and continues to have a very successful career. Now, that career was not a linear corporate career. He did spend a number of years in large organizations, including Cadbury, Schweppes, and Bang & Olufsen. And at Bang & Olufsen in particular, he was responsible for expansion in over 35 markets worldwide, which means that he basically lived in a plane for 7 years. In 2001, he returned to his native Spain and founded Starlab Barcelona, a technology and research company serving private and public companies generating IP rights. He continued in his entrepreneurial vein and in 2002 became CEO of Desigual. Manel led Desigual for 10 years through an extraordinary expansion phase that saw Desigual go from a small local player to a global omni-channel fashion brand, from 40 to over 5,000 employees, from 10 million sales to over $1 billion sales, and very significant profits. Along the way, he received the Ernst & Young Spanish Entrepreneur of the Year award in 2012. And it is in 2012 that he sold his shares at Desigual and moved to a new chapter of his life. And this chapter involves a portfolio of activities. One, he currently sits on the board of a number of very successful companies operating in global fashion, sports, and retail industries. Two, he also runs his family office and is committed to good governance. Three, in 2014, he became a founding partner at Decelera. Now, if you check Decelera on internet, you will read the world's first startup decelerator, which really means that it is a startup accelerator building a global community of entrepreneurs and investors focused on models that, yes, enable growth, but enable sustainable growth and contribute to a better future for society. Last and obviously not least, Manel is married to Karina, and they have a son, Pau, and a daughter, Helena. They live in London, and when not at the office, they are either sailing around the world or farming in Menorca, a small but beautiful Mediterranean island where they manage a regenerative agriculture project and a 1,000 hectares estate. We are proud to count Manel among IMD's MBA graduates, and we are delighted that he agreed to speak to you today on the 25th anniversary of his graduation. Dear graduates, dear guests, please welcome our 2019 graduation keynote speaker, Mr. Manel Adel.
Well, it's a challenge to be standing between Jean-François and your diplomas. This is a hard place to be. But I'll try to be brief. And I've been given 20 minutes to share with you some thoughts and some learnings of my career. First, good morning to all the students. Almost I can say alumni, but let's keep it at students. Maybe I'm the last one calling you students. Consuls, ambassadors, authorities, professors, parents, friends and families, and everybody that has supported you going through the year. A very important moment, I know, in many lives, some present here and so many more way beyond this auditorium. If your year has been any similar to the one I spent here 25 years ago, it has been a year of many hopes, sleepless nights, risk-taking, good friendships, high standards of performance, some serious fun, and the discovery of everybody's limits. In summary, I guess an amazing year for all of you, the year with many facets, and a supercharged year. The excitement and energy of this moment makes it very hard for any speaker to gather full attention. Your minds must be full of interesting thoughts right now. First of all, I want to express a special thanks to Jean-François, the president and dean of this amazing school, for thinking of me for this occasion. Thank you, Jean-François. I really appreciate the opportunity to share this moment with you, but also it's a great sign that the president likes risk-taking. I have to tell you a bit of a private conversation we had when he asked me to join you today. And he said, believe it or not, that he said, you know, this year Jeff Bezos or Tim Cook cannot come, so you can do a good job, Manel. How about for raising the bar? But actually, he gave me a great opportunity, because the truth is that it's a great honor for me sharing this moment with you. I also want to take the opportunity to thank to the IMD community, the full IMD community, for what the year I spent here has meant for my life and for my family, for my personal growth and my professional career. I do hope from my heart that this year ending has a similar effect on all of you. Before we start, a few words about my career that are not in the official CV that Jean-François just revised. I'm a Spanish, but I'm also a Catalan. As you know, Catalonia is a part of Spain fighting for independence. And I live in London, a country wanting to divorce for EU project. The red thread between these two sad stories is poor leadership. And I hope that you will understand and contribute to have better leaders in the countries that you live on. Married to Karina, I have 2 kids, Pau, the true engineer, Elena, a passionate photographer. My wife and I married just a month before starting the program. And we're still together. It's a well-deserved applause, I can tell you. For her as well. She couldn't join here, but she has been a great pillar and a great support all the way. Our first son, Pau, was born exactly 9 months after the graduation ceremony. So at least you have been warned. Not long ago, I was regularly asked to give speeches about the successful business model of my company, the omnichannel strategies, the digital commerce transforming the fashion industry, or the secrets of super high growth, and how to combine fun and profits, which was one of our mantras in the company. This is my second graduation speech in a short period of time, and I have a certain feeling this is not really a good sign. Maybe it's a sign I'm getting to white hair land. Maybe it's a sign that it's time to pass some knowledge and some learnings to the new generation. Feels a bit strange. But at the same time, I have to admit, it feels great to share this moment with you, as I do revive my own excitement, my own hopes and worries. When I saw you coming down the stairs, I remember my day coming down those stairs as well. And I only have good memories of that day. When I sat to prepare these words, the first thing that came to my mind was to think how the world has changed in those 25 years. Since that day of my graduation in 1994, we were told by professors that change was accelerating. I'm sure you've been told that too. But it was hard to grab the speed. Internet became browsable just a few months our program started. I remember surfing the web in a class like this for the first time. We visited Le Louvre. We went through an exhibition in the computer. This was like traveling to the moon. The other big difference was that planet survival and climate change were not in the agenda. We were beginning to talk about the goods of recycling, but the world was not in a stress that it is today. I realized now that these 2 subjects, digital transformation through the goods of internet and climate change issues, will still shape your business in fundamental ways we cannot foresee today. But even more important than that is that an innovation or an invention happening probably this morning in some lab nearby or far away could really change society in a way we cannot predict. Change keeps accelerating, and I don't see any sign of the opposite. Many think tanks agree that the next 20 years, and this will be the core of your business life, will bring more change to humanity than the previous 300. Then my second thought on preparing these words was trying to remember my own graduation and see whether I could remember anything from the graduation speech of that day to have some ideas and some inspiration for my address to you. I'll be honest to you, I don't remember a single word. 0. Not even who gave the speech. Maybe it's my bad memory, maybe it's age, but having checked with my colleagues, this is pretty normal. Even Sean, very encouraging, told me when we spoke on the phone a few days ago, Manel, don't worry, nobody remembers these speeches. Which made it very easy to have a goal for the speech. My goal today is that at least in 25 years, you remember one idea of what I'm going to tell you. One idea of a 20-minute speech shouldn't be that difficult. But remember, it will be way above average. I've decided, like Jean-François, probably is the house affecting us, to talk to you about three things. So I have tripled the possibilities. And they might sound like advice of an experienced man, but in fact, they are not advice. They are my best wishes for all of you. And I can assure you that they are also my best learnings in my 25 years of experience since I left this school, and 35 since I left university. They are my personal learnings along the way. I want to share them with you just in case some of them are of any use. Let's go for the first idea. Be humble. Stay humble. The vast majority of you are going to succeed in your professional career. It may sound wrong to say it today in a Swiss environment, but I'll tell you why I truly think so. You have been trained to do a better job than most. You have been carefully selected to be here. You have worked hard like few others. You have something that not many people have in the world, despite there's a lot of literature about it, and that's that you know how to work hard in a team. You have been prepared for it, have practiced, have made lots of learnings, and I'm sure lots of mistakes. You have worked hard to be good team players, but also good leaders. You have learned about your limits, about your colleagues' limits, about the professor's limits, about everybody's limits. But as good leaders, you have learned about your own limits. Leaders, I hope that you become leaders that can have positive impact in your organizations and in society as a whole, because you have been trained to be successful leaders. Well, only from the humility of recognizing that success is usually collective, often circumstantial, and always temporary, you will really enjoy it. Only if you are able to share that success with others, you will truly achieve some sort of winning, some true sense of achievement. Isolation in so-called success is a very sad corner to be. Therefore, it's always good to look around from time to time and check whether everybody is following you, or on the other hand, you will be on your own success. Do not believe you are going to get something important done on your own or in private, but on the contrary, you will feel alone at the front many times. It is my experience that without humility, you cannot add or multiply, but just subtract and divide. Without humility, it will be difficult for you to recognize your mistakes, and those will be the only source of learning. Never forget that leading is serving others, and you cannot serve without humility. So this was my first idea for you to remember. Be humble, stay humble. Let's go for the second one. Be brave. I'll now share a small part of the CV in a different version. At 40 years, 7 years after graduation, married to Karina and already with 2 kids, a good job in a great Danish company, my wife and I decided to change course and return to live in Spain. After 10 years living in California, in Switzerland, in Denmark, and in Belgium. I had worked in small firms, big multinationals, some of them listed, some of them family-owned, but I realized at the time that I wanted to stop being employed to be an entrepreneur. I felt I needed to have my own project. I also understood, finally, that working for growing equity could be more rewarding than just having a good salary, bonus included. I had no more assets than my studies, my MBA from IMD, my experience, not much money saved, and a flat that I had bought with my first savings. I did what many say you should never do, which is to sell your house and go into rental to finance a business project. That was Starlab, a technology company. At that time, working in intelligent clothing way before its time. A few years later, I sold that and moved into just clothing. Forget the intelligent part. I joined the founder of Desigual, a funky Spanish label, when the company had only a few employees and was a very small local brand of 10 million turnover. And 10 years later, the company was a global 1 billion brand, extremely profitable. And I can say that we had tremendous fun along the way. So it was like surfing a monster wave. Probably, if I hadn't sold my flat that day, I wouldn't be talking to you here today. And I assure you, it was not the easiest decision. And I had a bit more than butterflies in my stomach the day I sold my flat. The easiest thing would have been to take one of the job offers to continue employed in some sort of large corporation. And there's good corporations, of course. So with this story, I don't want you to recommend that you sell your houses or drop your corporations or bet all your savings to the red or to the black. In fact, I recommend that you don't do it. But in your coming years, you will encounter some major crossroads, some big decisions. Use your intuition and your instinct, but never think that the good path is the easiest or the safest. It almost never is. Nor the one that everybody follows. That will take you to a place crowded. Most of the things that are worthwhile in life produce a certain vertigo. And that's why most of you today probably feel that vertigo about the future. My message is that despite the doubts and feeling of vertigo, I encourage you to jump. Be brave. And let your passion guide you, because very few things are discovered from the same safe sofa. Nothing can beat discovering one's passion and living from it. So we already have 2 ideas in the basket: be humble and be brave. And finally, my third idea. This one might not be very original or new, but I think it's a very serious and important one. In fact, it can be traced 2,070 years back in the era of Virgil, the Roman poet. And it's called Tempus Fugit. Time flies would be a simple translation, but I've translated it so that you can remember it into don't waste your time. As simple as this. Steve Jobs, in his famous speech at a small university somewhere across the Atlantic, which I suppose you all know, talked about his successes and his failures, his mindsets and his luck. Maybe actually he didn't call it luck, but that's what he meant. For me, the most powerful idea of the things he said in that speech, and he knew it very well, was, and I'm sorry to say it so loud, but your time is limited. So is mine, by the way. I'm not talking about my speech time. We know that, I know actually that there's a lot of people working on immortality at the moment. It's kind of a hip subject. But until they sort it out, remember that our time is limited and it's silly to waste it. Do something that you're passionate about and do it now. My message is that you do good. If you can do well, even better. But at least I wish and hope you can do something really good for your organization, for your family, for society, and for the planet. But on top of that, I suggest that you do it as soon as possible. No hurry, but no pause. Do something with impact and don't waste your time with nonsense, because before you realize it, you might be giving graduation speeches. And that is if you're lucky. So let me finish with a little story, so that if you don't remember anything of my 3 ideas, be humble, be brave, and don't waste your time, at least in 25 years you remember this little story, the story of the camel. So yeah, I have some visual aids for those that don't remember words but remember images. I told you that I had the goal that you remember something about my speech. So this is a story of a baby camel that is in a bright sunny day having some ideas bouncing his camel head. And he says, well, I have some funny questions. I should ask my mom. Mom, can I ask you some questions? Sure, why not? Why do we have these long, bony legs full of hairs? And the mom said, well, that's very, very simple. That's in order to be able to walk in the soft sands of the desert. And our hairs are to protect us from the heat, but also from the insects and the bites of the snakes. And our legs are so long so that we are far away from the dangers. Our body is far away from the dangers of the desert. Okay. That sounds fair, interesting. I have another question, Mom. Why do we have these long eyelashes? Well, this is very simple, my dear. We need to be prepared for sandstorms. When we cross the desert, our eyelashes protect our eyes so we can still see through and go across the long desert crossings. That makes sense, answered the baby camel. I have a last question, Mommy. Why do we have this big hump on my back? It's so strange. Well, it's a very important energy storage. The fat and the water contained in it will allow us to cruise without any food and water for days and days in the crossings of the desert. Okay, I get it. So we have long legs to be able to walk on the sun and protect ourselves from the dangers of the desert. We have the eyelashes to protect us from the sandstorms in the desert. And we have the humps to allow us to cruise the desert without water or food. So there's something I don't get, Mom. What is it, my dear? She said, so what are we doing living in a zoo? Well, this is a story that about your personal capabilities and your personal strengths are only good and truly useful if you are in the right place. So I'm sure you already know, but the corporate world, I'm afraid to say, is full of zoos. There's some big corporations, some great corporations, but there are also some zoo-like corporations. And zoos are for one characteristic. So my recommendation is that if you ever doubt whether you are in a zoo-like organization for yourself, you are probably in one. They tend to be safe places where food comes for free at regular intervals, apparently for free, and some even might have a bonus system and a sophisticated retention stock plan. But if they are a zoo for who you are, you might not be maximizing your potential. And after the hard year you've spent here, I hope this is exactly what you want to do. Please avoid living in a zoo where you cannot flourish and be at your best. To conclude, I think it was Shakespeare that told us that the world is a kind of theater and we are all at stage. Remember that what's starting tomorrow is not a general rehearsal. It's a real life. So I wish you a good life, full of good health, true love, and the best of success. Be humble, be brave, and don't lose your time.
And now, of course, it's a very special moment for all of us. Sandeep, if you could join me, Jopi, please, and Jean-François. It's time to award the degrees.
Good morning, everyone. I will welcome you to the stage in alphabetical order by your family name. And I will start with Ezequiel Abachian Alvarez. Amir Ahmed. Louder. Kamal Aisa. Pervez Akhtar. Tulio Barcelos. Anna Barskaya. Graduating with honors, Alex Berry. Graduating with honors, Gianmarco Bonaita. Maisie Boros. Stepan Braginski. Alexander Bro. Alexander Burasov. Graduating with honors, Marcelo Cordoso. Jaime Sharad. Georgi Charjeshvili. James Chia. Angelina Cho. Graduating with honors, Andre Costa. Graduating with honors, Swati Dalal. Galia Dautova. Graduating with honors, Olivier Dollier de Kerke. Pedro Domello. Mirko Deckler. Arjun Dhaul. Gavin D'Souza. Graham Egan. Graduating with honors, Luca Emanuele Facchini. Uzair Fahmi. Alexis Fisore. Armando Goz. Shauna Grover. Sidrit Hafizi. Becky Holst. Carrie Xiao. Carl Huang. Hamid Ibrahim. Takashi Ito. Shrikant Iyer. Graduating with honors, Jaco Janssen. Graduating with honors, Lukasz Kaczynski. Philip Kynes. Peter Kallett. Damianos Kiramarios. Purnendu Kushwaha. Anita Lee. Priscilla Lelis. Graduating with honors, Daniel Leotenegger. Javier Linares. Ankita Majumdar. Edouard Maupilet. Kristina Mityaeva. Kirill Nagorsky. Vivekanand Pandey. Richard Pickering. Joseph Pineda. Sebastiano Pizzinelli. Surbi Puri. Misha Riedo. Adrian Savchuk. Camila Scaranello. Diego Scolaro. Peter Shibaev. Atsushi Shichitani. Maki Shimizu. Jesua Silva. Jia Song. Da Yun Sung. Graduating with honors, Kozima Suter. Leo Suvorov. Kei Takizawa. Satoshi Tanaka. Roberto Tavares. Andrea Teja. Tamil Vardhani Tamizharasan. Sumit Trehan. Sian Umbert. Helena Vargas Cerato. Felipa Vasconcelos. Matteo Verlato. Tiziano Vigano. Fred Wallenberg. Junie Wang. Jillian Zhu. Idze Zhu. Yang Yao. Ashley Ye. Atsushi Yokota. Chow Cho. Yang Zhu. Isabella Chan.
Thank you.
Sincere congratulations to all of you. You've graduated. Well done. My word, this is some kind of big deal, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the special privileges I have as Dean of the IMD MBA program is to get to know these wonderful people just a little bit during the course of this year. I'm continually impressed, inspired, and surprised by their thoughts, their plans, and their actions. With that in mind, I invite Richard Pickering, who has been elected by his peers to make the class graduation speech on their behalf.
You know, it really is a massive honor to be here, giving the IMD MBA graduation speech on behalf of my class, the class of 2019. And now that I've graduated, I can perhaps safely give it. I was fortunate enough to be elected to this privilege by my class. You know, God knows why. Where I come from, we don't really do goodbyes or farewells after transformative experiences. We just draw a line under it and then we crack on. But nevertheless, I'm going to do my utmost to do justice to the theatre of characters, stories, and emotions that have been this year for all of us. But I wasn't really sure how to approach this speech. I saw inspiration from various sources, and I thought, you know, how might our MBA program dean, Sean, have given this speech? And, you know, I think he might have started something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. There are three things I want to talk about in this speech. I want to talk about brains, I want to talk about talent, and I want to talk about hard work. And let me tell you, this year's class are some of the smartest, most talented, and hardest working people that I've met. But then I thought structure is such a big deal for MBAs. It's a key part of our course. And I saw inspiration from some of my classmates. One of my classmates, who hails from Albania and Germany, is a first-class structured and creative thinker. He's an amazing, experienced engineer and an all-round, top-quality guy. And I think he might have told the speech a little bit like this. Hello, everybody. In this speech, I would like to go at first wide and then deep. In the wide part, I will take the year in chronological order from January through to December. And in the deep part, my speech will include, but not be limited to, hilarious jokes. But then I thought actually a good way to approach this might be to just convey some of the learnings that we've benefited from as a class, real impact, real learning, or is it the other way around? I can't remember. But I'll also talk about some of the amazing experiences that we've had, and finally I'll conclude with some mandatory, boring, emotional stuff. Just a quick disclaimer before I start, you won't get any slides or visuals out of me. As one of our illustrious professors from Norway used to say, hey, listen. No slides, no stress. Okay? This. Right. I'll go into the lessons. Lesson 1. There's no getting away from the hard skills in an MBA. And I think it's fair to say that we learned this year there's no harder hard skill than accounting. It's not the most easily absorbed topic, but it is crucial. After all, how can you understand any, let's say, company without understanding their assets, their liabilities, and for sure, you will need to know their costs. That all said, one of the best qualities of this class emerged during the battle for the balance sheet. Just how supportive everyone is. It was amazing to me to see how those with previous experience, those who know their subject well, really supported their classmates, and how everyone really supported each other. Seeing this in the beginning of the year, in January, having made the investment to come here, I knew immediately that I was in the right place. And the lessons learned will no doubt prove useful in both the immediate and long-term future. The reality is that many of us might have to repay some form of student debt. And so, how might we approach this? We will take a look at our personal balance sheet, and we will go to our banker, who will tell us that we will have to repay a rate of maybe 7%. And so we will either repay our loans, or we will go to another banker and refinance. Lesson 2. Structure is indeed everything. I'm probably speaking for myself alone, but my brain before IMD, by comparison, feels like a tangled ball of wire, just conducting electricity in any which direction and occasionally giving itself a painful shock. The ability to structure a message or an argument is a critical component of any MBA's toolkit. After all, what is the point of having the most insightful thoughts in the world unless you can convey them in a comprehensible and digestible way? This was reiterated to us powerfully at the start of our international consulting projects. We were told that, consultants, they structure everything, okay? You can't just go to a client meeting and be like, hey, it's not like we planned this or anything. Lesson 3. Some of the best lessons were in fact learned from each other. I came here in January expecting to be taught by some of the world's best professors, and indeed I was. But little did I realize that I would also learn many from my colleagues. We are fortunate in this MBA to count among us experienced professionals from all different walks of life who bring with them a vast wealth of knowledge which serves to complement our formal teaching. I remember on one occasion we were listening to a presentation about a company that was trying to cut costs. and a knowledgeable classmate who has worked for many years as a consultant in Dubai and Germany, chimed in and he said, yeah, thank you for your presentation. You've told us a little bit about how you plan to cut some of the fat from this business, but reminds me of a project I did in Etikani in Dubai. And I think maybe looking at your expenses, you can shed some pounds here, left and right. And he was right. It was amazing. Lesson 4. In times of stress, small gestures of kindness can go a long way. In the early months of the year, many an evening did we spend in our so-called dungeons, actually just basement study rooms, but dungeons sounds cooler. I think mostly we were pretty resilient, but no doubt there were passing times of stress and despair. In these moments, a member of our class was known to pass by each room, pop his head in and say, mates, can I tempt any of you with a Haribo? No, I really must insist. Solid, mate. Moments of camaraderie like this kept us all going. Lesson 5. Quick thinking and problem solving can get you out of any tricky situation. And I think there is no better way to illustrate this lesson than with a story about one of our classmates who got himself into a troubling situation in Shenzhen in China. A class dinner was organized at a local restaurant, not too far from where we were staying. When the dinner had concluded and we were all filing out to the buses, this class member, with impeccable timing, decided to go to the bathroom to freshen up. After all, he had to stay looking sharp for the evening ahead. But by the time he was through his extensive routine, he emerged and to his horror found the restaurant empty. What was he to do? I mean, he might have to walk back to the hotel. But how? And more importantly, why? Panic gripped him, but slowly he began to remember his training. After all, he was getting his MBA, and he could extricate himself from any troubling situation. A solution struck him, and promptly he ran to the restaurant manager, said he was terribly lost and immediately needed help. She made some calls, and so it was that a Chinese IMD alumnus 10,000 kilometers away in London received word that an MBA candidate was in trouble. He called Sandeep from our MBA office. Sandeep called the restaurant, and upon being passed to said distressed MBA, of course, suggested he consider walking 800 meters back to the hotel. Problem solved. Lesson 6. It is important to explore creative resolutions to any negotiation. During our intense 3-day course on negotiations, we realized the best training derived from practice. We practiced many mock negotiations. It wasn't easy. Tempers flared. The conciliatory were preyed upon by the aggressive, by the drivers of hard bargains. And during one negotiation, over the world-moving question of who gets to sell how many eggs, 2 parties had reached gridlock. Each party tried to seek compromise after compromise, but the other was unyielding. Each attempt to reach a deal crashed like waves among the rocks. But at some point, one of the 2 parties stood up and left to avail himself of a much-needed bio break. After a few moments, in a flash of misguided genius, a member of the other party jumped up and with a giggle ran to the men's room and held the door shut. After a while, the door handle began to shake, to twist and turn. Angry knock on the bathroom door came after angry knock, but our brave negotiator stood firm. He held the door, until, of course, he ran. The aggrieved party emerged. His face was ashen, and his eyes shot daggers. And he said, "Who locked me in the bathroom?" Needless to say, our negotiations professor, having witnessed this, leaned over to some of us and confided that he hadn't been sure whether it was worth coming back to IMD from his summer sailing vacation in order to teach us negotiations, but that seeing this episode made everything worthwhile. I'd now like to talk a little bit about some of the amazing experiences we've had during this year, and I'd like to be a little bit more serious, just a bit. And I think when you stop to think about what is fit into a single year, then it is quite incredible what we have done in the space of 1 year at IMD. I'm sure that each of us has our favorite moment or experience. Personally, I found our Discovery expedition to be a unique opportunity. In the space of 2 weeks, we flew around the entire world. We flew from Geneva to San Francisco to Shenzhen in China, and from Shenzhen to Dublin. This is quite a crazy trip when you think about it. And this was really taught to me when one evening in Dublin I went out into a pub and started speaking to some local guys, and they asked what we'd been up to over the last 2 weeks, and I told them, and they just looked at me and laughed and said, "A trip around the world in 2 weeks? Yous are a bunch of lunatics." And of course they were right. But it's no small organizational feat, moving 90 people around the globe, and so for that we owe IMD a huge thank you. I won't list every other experience ad nauseum, but let me just say that this MBA at IMD has been a special year. Whether it was our experience working with some of Europe's most interesting startups, the opportunity to work with UEFA in the annual Innovation Challenge, the international consulting projects which took teams of all of us around the world in different directions, or even the integrative exercise, that surreal 48-hour marathon that I won't spoil for next year. The diversity of experience at IMD has made us all different people, whether we know it or not. I am deeply convinced that it has changed us for the better. I now reach a point in a speech where it is customary for someone in my position, on behalf of the class of 2019, to thank all the people who have made this year such a special one. But you know, I don't really think we need to do that because we really did it all by ourselves. No, seriously. I would like to say several thank yous and can only apologize if this list is not collectively exhaustive by saying that I never really was a good consultant. I want to start by thanking all our professors. We are fortunate to have been taught by some of the very best in the world and feel privileged to have learned from them. They have pushed us and challenged us in ways we could hardly have imagined. And so on behalf of our class, I want to thank all of them. I would also like to give special thanks to Professor Benoit Leleu for his organization of the startup projects, and to Professor James Henderson for his organization of the international consulting projects. Both of these take considerable effort to organize, and they form cornerstones of our learning and development, both of which make the IMD MBA such a special experience. I would like to thank Julia, Natalia, and the career development team for all their hard work on our behalf this year. And I think it is important that we also take time to thank our IMD MBA alumni community. I am sure that most of us, if not all of us, have reached out to alumni at points throughout this year for advice both on the course itself and on what lies after. These alumni, of course, are under no obligation to respond to us, but the vast majority make themselves readily available and are extremely approachable. I think this is testament to the strength of the network which today we become part of, and I would like to express thanks on behalf of our class. I am sure that we will express the same attitude and openness towards future classes over the many years to come. I would also like to thank Jean-François, our school president. I know we are grateful that despite his all-consuming schedule, he took time to speak with all of us throughout the year in small groups, and this meant a huge amount to our class. Naturally, I would also like to express enormous gratitude to Sean, our formidable dean. He has been this year engaging, involved, and inspiring. And I think all throughout the year we have been fortunate to have him as our dean. You know, he likes to seem intimidating, but he's actually quite nice. Of course, we also would like to thank Sandeep and Joppy and the MBA office for putting up with us all year, for traveling with us to the Spartan outskirts of Paris, for accompanying us around the world, for looking out for us, and generally for everything you do on behalf of our class. We're really grateful. Finally, and arguably most importantly, I would like to thank all our partners and families. Our partners and families have been the base upon which we have built this year's adventure. I doubt it was easy for you to tolerate us at times, but your unwavering support, your belief in us, your strength has been what has made this year truly possible, and for that we will remain forever grateful. Right, I'm running out of time, and I know that at least one person here in 15 minutes has to catch a train to La Spezia, but I have to conclude by saying to my classmates that whilst I have made much of the lessons and opportunities afforded us by this year, the most meaningful and memorable experience has been getting to know all of you. It goes against all my core values to say emotional things like this, but I really have never met 89 such interesting, kind, intelligent and hilarious people as all of you. This is a happy time to be graduating our MBA together, but it is also a sad time, a time to say goodbye to friends who have become like family. I know that every one of you is going to go on to do great things, and I hope you take with you the memory of this year's shared experience, and I hope that we stay close throughout the years to come. It is a rare occasion indeed upon which I can say to 89 other people that if any of you ever call me, message me, email me, I will happily pick up the phone, answer your message, and meet you wherever, whenever. Except you, Shonak. Thank you.
Where is he? I was going to say what's left to say, but there's a lot. Friends, I hope you take a moment over the next few days to think about what you've learned this year. You'll all have learned something different. Different points will have been more important to you, but you should just recalibrate, reflect, think about what you're going to do with that insight, that learning. It's important that you do that now, because you will really lock that in and remember it years to come. Of course, I hope that you'll always be open-minded, but always true and focused on your ambition and your goals that you set yourself. I hope that you're realistic, but yet allow yourselves to dream. And I hope you're ready to accept the inevitable challenges that will come along. This year will have taught you the value of straight thinking and straight talking. And you'll realize that when you think you're done, there's always a lot more to do. Graduates of the class of 2019, during this year, you will have clarified your ambitions. And as you make your way now, I hope that you will be generous, you will help those around you, you'll be a giver, help shape ideas, beliefs, and practices, and you will be a leader. You will take responsibility. All of this requires courage. Above all, self-belief. And there's no reason in the world that you should have any doubt about yourself. Believe in yourself, back yourself, and you will make great things happen. This is, in fact, your moment. You graduate at an extraordinary moment in our time. The world needs people like you. It needs you to take responsibility, and you need to make a choice now to accept that burden of opportunity that you have or not. I know that you will. And I wish you enormous success and complete happiness as you do so. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, as they leave the auditorium, I ask you once more to stand and join me in congratulating our friends, your family, the IMD MBA graduates of the class of 2019.